the Red Diva and welcome to my channel. Today is a very special day because we're going to be doing Thriver Thursday. So Thriver Thursday is going to be a series within the Red Diva channel, and it will cover many different topics that will focus on cancer survivors like myself, and also we will be giving some great tips and tricks for any women out there that or even men that have a lot of hair loss due to alopecia, or even permanent hair loss due to cancer treatments. In general, they do tend to grow back after the treatment, but there is a large population of people that don't have that happen to them, and they do get permanent hair loss. So we will cover wigs. We will cover wigs that look really natural and comfortable, of course, and also makeup tricks to kind of counteract the different types of side effects that usually you get with cancer treatments, that include hair loss of the lashes, of the eyebrows, as well as different textural issues with their skin, as well as color of their skin, changes in tone, basically. So, but before we get through all of that, I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about my cancer story and let you know why I decided to create this Thriver Thursday series. So where do I start from the beginning? Well, I guess my beginning starts with having a history of cancer in my family. I've had cancer affect my dad's mom. She had breast cancer. I also had my mom's brother had colon cancer, and a cousin of mine had thyroid cancer. And so there was a lot of people much older than my age have already cancer in the family. And just recently my dad had prostate cancer and everything, so he's doing well, thank goodness. But the biggest shock came when my sister Rosanna, got diagnosed with cancer at the age of 36, and at the time I'm 8 years younger than her, so I was in my late 20s when that happened, mid 20s to late 20s. And she got diagnosed at that age with colon cancer. So we were quite shocked because we didn't expect something like that to affect our family in such a direct way, you know, and especially because she was not. She wasn't like your typical stereotype of somebody that would get something like colon cancer. And honestly, in the last 25 years since her original diagnosis, the typical face of a cancer survivor or someone that gets diagnosed with colon cancer has changed drastically. In the old days, you would associate colon cancer to someone that was much older and that had a horrific diet, and that was really someone that just did not take care of themselves at all. So when my sister got diagnosed, and she basically had a normal diet. I mean, we were raised in the same way. We ate everything, you know, fruits, vegetables, and everything. So it was quite shocking that, like, but why? That was always the question. But why? How? Why, you know? So she fought a hard battle. It really took a lot. And then unfortunately in 2003 she passed away just after having turned 40. So it was a really big shock, you know. And I even back then I used to encourage her to join a support group, and to share what she was going through with other people that might be able to help her kind of navigate better in her journey. But she really wasn't into the idea of, you know, of joining any group, any support group, or going anywhere. She was a very private person. I don't even think that everybody at her job really knew what she was going through, even towards the end. And so that was that. I mean, we just really couldn't change her mind about it. And of course, social media did not exist back then. This was the mid to late 90s. So we really didn't have much way of like researching too much what to look out for, or how to give her the right type of support. So then fast track, that was in 2003 when she passed away. So fast track to 2009. And one of the reasons that I went to see a doctor and then through that process got the diagnosis was because summer of 2008, I was my hair was looking fabulous. I was having the time of my life. I was doing a lot of traveling. Everything was looking really good. And then when it became at the end of the summer, beginning of fall, I started to notice that my hair was shedding a lot more than usual. And so I was kind of getting kind of like concerned because I was like, this is so weird, you know? And at the time, I wasn't on the pill, and I wasn't in any relationship either. But I did notice that because I wasn't on the pill, which I had been on for many, many years prior to that, just because I used to get horrific period pains. And so I had been put on the pill to kind of like shorten the periods and lessen the cramps and stuff like that. So during that period of 2008, I wasn't on anything, and I noticed that my period was like really long. Like it was lasting over the 5 to 7 days is usually the average, but this was like going into 10 days. And so I kind of was like, oh, I really don't like this long period is a hassle, and I don't want to deal with this. And then my hair is like coming out, and so I've always enjoyed wearing wigs and stuff like that. So I got a coworker of mine to put like a weave, like to weave hair tracks and extensions, you know. So I got this cute haircut that was like really, really sharp and very edgy and really nice, you know. And so I thought, okay, cool, you know. So I got the edgy hair, like it's not a wig. It's like, you know, I can sleep with it. I can be with it all the time, no problem. But oh my God, this is something that where you learn that your scalp is like really sensitive. And that weave application that I had, oh my God, it gave me so much itchiness in my scalp. My scalp was just dying of itch, and I was like, what is going on here? You know, so I kept on putting all kinds of like, you know, like anti-itch liquids like through the fake scalp of the tracks, and I was like trying to like stop this itchiness and stuff like that. So finally I take out the tracks, you know, a while later. I take them out. A friend of mine helped me actually take them out. And not only was my scalp like, oh my God, like white and flaky and just like a complete circus, but also as she was undoing the tracks, so much of my natural hair was like falling on the floor. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? Like, what is going on with my hair? You know, and by the time we were done, I literally could just pull my hair back and just have the tiniest little tiny ponytail. I was like, what is this? I knew something was going on. Like it just didn't look or feel normal. I mean, there's no reason for your hair to start falling off like that. Like I knew something was going on. So that was like end of December. So January, I finished doing some stuff, and so what I did was I got a wig. Luckily, she lived in Brooklyn, and there was a lot of wig shops at the time in that downtown Brooklyn area. A lot of them have closed since, you know, believe it or not. But we went down the street from her place. Thank God it was nighttime. And I literally went in and just found an exact replica of the style that I had with my weave. And I bought a wig that was a full wig that looked exactly like it. And so I was like, okay, until I'm able to go to a doctor and figure out what's going on, like I will wear this wig, because I had to continue working and looking good. And I worked in cosmetics as a manager. So I couldn't like go into the store, in the department store I worked at, and look like what something had happened, like so I did that. So I wore this black wig. Nobody could tell the difference between my weave and the wig. So that was good. So I went ahead and made an appointment. And because I was thinking, you know what? I think I want to get back on the pill and get those periods shortened up, and also find out what the hell's going on with this hair. So I went locally, in the Queens area. I went to OBGYN, and I had mammograms in the past, and like all the other checkups and stuff like that, on a regular basis, because I was, like even when I started college, in my late teens, early 20s, I had a good habit of getting my checkups and doing what I had to do. So I just thought, okay, I'm just going to continue going in and getting my checkups. So I did. And I explained like, hey, like I've been losing my hair. I don't know what's going on. I'm thinking that I would like to get back on the pill and stuff like that. So the nurse was like, okay, no problem. And she's like, and you have a scheduled mammogram after this, right? And I'm like, yeah, definitely. I try to get them at least once every year, or maybe once every 2 years. So I'm pretty good about that. I had one done the prior year. So I had one at this moment. This was February of 2009. Like the first couple of days of 2009, February. And I said to her, yeah, I had a mammogram done last year. And they sent me a letter stating that, oh, like the breast tissue, like it tends to be a little bit on the lumpy side or whatever, but that's very common. So you just have to like really be mindful of that, and, just have regular checkups and things like that. So I said, yeah, I'm going to have my mammogram right after this. But before I even went to do that, the nurses or the doctors will do like, they'll feel like the breast to make sure, like to see what's going on and stuff like that. And she said, oh, how long has that been there? And I said, what do you mean? What are you talking about? What has been there? And she goes, this. And she put my hand, over my breast, and she made me press down in one particular spot. And she goes, do you feel that? And I said, I guess. I mean, I've always had like the lumpy breasts, so I didn't know like, anything in particular. And she goes, how long has that been there? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I guess between last year and this year, because I had, a mammogram last year, but they sent me the letter stating that, oh, lumpy breast syndrome, blah, blah, blah. But they never said you must get rechecked immediately. They never said that. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get my checkup next year, and I'll just follow up with my doctors and stuff like that. So I didn't think anything serious at that moment, but she seemed very concerned. And so that kind of concerned me as well. I thought, oh man, like this is not good. This is not good. So I went ahead and had the mammogram. So I go in there. They escort me to a different room. I have a mammogram. And then they say to me, oh, do you mind if we do an ultrasound as well, of the breasts? Because we see something there for sure. And I said, sure, why not? So they did an ultrasound as well. And then they said, can you wait a few minutes? Because the doctor that does the radiologist would like to be able to see the result, and then see what needs to happen. And I said, okay, no problem. So I waited. I'm like, oh my God. It felt like it wasn't that long of a wait, but it felt like an eternity, of course. So I go ahead and I get called in, and they tell me, we would like to have our breast doctor examine you and do a biopsy tomorrow, if you can come in tomorrow and do that. So because we see something, but we want to find out exactly what it is. And I said, okay, no problem, absolutely, yeah, I'll be here tomorrow. So next day I go in and I meet this breast doctor, as it was a male doctor. So he's like, okay, so let me explain to you what we're going to do, the procedure. We're going to cut, like, we're going to make a little incision, and then we're going to stick a needle in there, and like, it's going to suck it up, suck up whatever is going on in there. And that way we can check it out in the lab and find out exactly like, what that is, you know, is it malignant, is it benign? Like, you know, they need to understand a little bit better the makeup of that, whatever they were seeing. And I said, sure, absolutely. So he did that. And then he goes, it's going to take a few days to get the results. And I said, well, tomorrow I'm leaving to Miami on vacation for a week. So I will be back Sunday. And they're like, okay. So yeah, maybe we can have you back on Monday, or we'll give you a call, you know. And I said, okay, perfect. So I'm like, oh gosh, you know, like, what do I do, you know? So I went ahead and went to Miami, and I had my family down there and friends. And so I told them about the fact that they had found something and that they still didn't know exactly what it was. But, deep down in my stomach, just my gut feeling was just like, oh God, you know, especially having had my sister go through that and other members of my family. It just didn't feel like it was a non-issue. It definitely felt like it was an issue. And so I just wanted to make sure that, you know, my family and friends knew exactly what was happening. So I was due to go back on Sunday, but on Friday, a Friday afternoon, I got a call from that doctor's office saying that, yes, can you please come on Monday? And I said, sure, no problem. So I flew back home to New York on Sunday night, and then on Monday morning, I was due to work late that day, so I wasn't due to work until the afternoon. So I went ahead and went to the doctor's office in the morning, and he took a look, making sure that, you know, the little place where they had done the needle biopsy was healing fine and everything. So he took me back to his office, and he says, well, there is really no easy way to say it, but you have cancer. And I'm like, okay, all right. I knew it. I had a feeling, and it didn't feel like non-cancer. It definitely felt like something was happening. So I said, okay. Actually, it was funny because a couple months prior to that diagnosis, I had watched an episode of Oprah, because she was still doing episodes at that time in 2008. And Christina Applegate was on the show. And she had opened up about the fact that she had gone through cancer, and she had gotten genetic testing done to show that there was a correlation between her mom and her grandmother and her aunt, and all these women had had breast cancer, and so she wanted to make sure, and she had tested positive for the gene. So because of that information that I had in the back of my mind, when this doctor said, yes, so, you know, this is a very serious thing, you have cancer, so we have to obviously, you know, look into operating and this and that. And I said, okay, you know, I totally understand. I said, well, what about getting genetic testing done? And he goes, oh, yeah, you know, like, I didn't feel like he was like that informed in that particular category of treatment, but he was like, yeah. And I said, yeah, well, and also he said, yeah, because you're gonna have to, you know, like, get operated and remove that tumor and this and that. And I said, okay, but obviously there's like reconstruction, right? And there's breast reconstruction surgery that you can have, so you end up like looking like yourself afterwards and this and that. And he's like, oh yeah, I mean, you know, it's not like I'm gonna leave you like mutilated or anything like that. And I was like, why is he even bringing that term up at this moment? It's like, I don't want to hear any word of mutilation or anything like that. And he's like, yeah, you know, I would treat you like I treat my daughters and this and that. But we have to react really quickly on this and get you operated. So I wouldn't waste a single minute. And I thought, okay, well, you know, I definitely thank you for your time. And I would like to have a second or even a third opinion on this. Yeah, okay, you know, but he was like, but please let us know as soon as possible. And I was like, okay, you know, great. So I left his office, and I was like, okay, I gotta definitely start doing my research and contacting people that I knew that had diagnosis of cancer, not just breast cancer, but other types of cancer. But I just wanted to like know exactly like what is the best cancer center that I could go to for me, for my needs and stuff like that. So I made a couple of appointments, and I ended up going with NYU. Langone, but I did go to a couple of other places as well, and everybody seemed to be on the same page as far as the results. So after I got the diagnosis, I went straight to work, and I called my mom on the phone because she was living in Miami at the time, and I said, "Mom, just like we thought, there's definitely something positive going on in there." So I felt really bad having to give her that type of news, even though we had discussed it during my trip to Miami that prior week. But still, like, it really killed me to have to give my mom that kind of news, especially having had already lost one daughter, and to sit there and have to think about her second daughter, the baby of the family, to having to go through all that. It was really something you just don't want to ever have to be the one to give your parents that kind of news, And so, but she gave me a lot of support, and so I was at work, and I guess I was kind of like a little out of it during that day because my makeup artist team got to a point that they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, and I gathered everybody, and I was like, guys, you might have noticed that I look a little off today, but it's because today I got this morning some news that, that I have breast cancer. And they were like, "What?" Because I was 37 years old. And for the most part, it looked like I was healthy and vibrant and with tons of energy and just so much life to live, And so I was like, yeah. And they were like, "Oh my God, why are you here?" They said, "Why did you come to work?" And I'm like, "Because I know that it's going to take time for me to research and all these different things, or, I'm going to have to take time to do that. But what did you want me to do? Like, just stay at home and just be like, shocked, So it was okay. I mean, the good thing is that at that moment, I decided that I would share with as many people that I would come across the fact that I had just been diagnosed, because I was hoping that I would run into the type of people that could guide me and just send me in the right path in terms of knowing what to expect, knowing what to do, knowing about the different options and stuff like that. And just like watching that episode of Oprah did that day for me in terms of like knowing about what genetic testing is, reconstruction options and things like that. I knew that by sharing and also like commiserating with other survivors, I would be able to be better educated. And I felt like education was really going to be my saving grace in being able to approach this and handle this. So I started telling people where I worked, and I found out that, oh, so-and-so had it, so-and-so had it, Mrs. This, Mrs. That. All these different people had it, and of course they each had their own set of circumstances and journeys that, things that they had gone through, treatment, operation options, all kinds of different things. Some people had a mastectomy, some people had lumpectomy, other people just remained flat. I mean, after the mastectomy, there was zero reconstruction done, so they just stayed flat, either by choice or due to medical complications that did not allow their body to accept an implant or any type of reconstruction option. So there was like such a vast amount of opinions out there, but it all was presented to me in such a positive way that I felt like definitely I could definitely take advantage of that information and use it to benefit me. So I never really had a moment during that first, period of being diagnosed where I felt like, oh, I'm so ashamed. I can't tell anybody. I'm so embarrassed. I have to keep this to myself. Nobody must know. Nobody can know. I don't want pity. I don't want people to feel bad for me. I can't take them looking at me be sad. I can't handle any of that. So I'm just going to shut everything out and just not tell anybody. there was no moment like this for me. There have been for people I know, and definitely I had the same example in my own family with my sister, where she really didn't tell many people. But for me, I felt like, you know what, I need to share this story. I need to be able to channel my emotions, and whatever is going through, I need to be able to tell people. And hopefully I can bring awareness, that a 37-year-old can have breast cancer, and that how important it is for people, for women of all ages, to know their family history, to also be proactive in getting checkups, and especially if there's family history. Like I've had friends where, oh, my mom died of ovarian cancer, my aunt died of ovarian cancer, my grandmother died of ovarian cancer. Well, have you been genetically tested for the gene of ovarian cancer? And they're like, oh, no. Well, when was the last time you went to an OBGYN? Oh, it's been a long, long time. And I'm like, what? Like, no, like, there's so many people out there that don't get regular checkups, but don't have a family history. They're still at risk because there's so many cases of first-time diagnosis, meaning no family history, and yet the person is in their late 20s, in their late teens, early 20s, late 20s, being diagnosed with all kinds of different cancers, and they were the first one in their family. So they didn't really think about, like, gonna go get checked out for that bad cancer, at age 22 because whatever, and meanwhile zero of it in their family. But when there is a family history, like, golly, like, you got to go out there and get checked, And so by telling my coworkers and telling people, I was able to realize with them that, wow, they had family history, and they've been putting off getting tested. And I felt like, wow, I am doing something positive by sharing my story. And, 11 years later, and after being very involved in the young adult cancer community, young adult because anybody under the age of 40 is considered a young adult in terms of being diagnosed with cancer. And so I was 37 at the time, so I kind of fell into that category of young adult, which covers anybody age 18 through like 39, 40. So that would be the young adult community. So I participated in a lot of different groups that are made for the young adult cancer community, and I even fundraised for them as well to continue spreading that knowledge with people, sharing my story, and letting them understand a little bit about cancer in the young population, and that it's so important to know your body and to make sure that your body's being treated correctly, and that you're getting the proper checkups and things like that, and that you can't underestimate your body just because you're young, that you're not going to get cancer, especially if you already have cancer in the family, So, so I thought that creating Thriver Thursday would be a great opportunity because, of course, so I was wearing wigs, I had that hair loss, and I was already wearing wigs. So then they told me you're going to have to go through chemo and everything. So the bit of hair that I had left after the weave and everything, that started to fall. But I was wearing wigs throughout the whole process, so nobody could tell, that I was really losing my hair, or losing the remaining of the hair that I was able to keep. And so I started chemo, and then within 2 weeks of that chemo application, hair just started to fall like on my pillow and everything. And but I never took the time to like shave off whatever was left. I kept what I could keep, and I continued wearing my wigs and everything. What I did notice is that my eyebrows were getting lighter and lighter in terms of the thinness, and also the lashes. I was putting mascara, but I was getting like more lashes were falling off and stuff like that. So I had to use some makeup tricks. I had to like fill in my eyebrows utilizing, some products. I had to like create the illusion that I had lashes by, coloring the waterline of my eyes, top and bottom, with a black pencil. My eyes wouldn't look like just huge and like with nothing around, and then at the time they didn't have magnetic lashes, so they had the regular kind that you glue. So if I was at home, I was like comfortable, but as soon as if I would step out of my house for anything, I would use my strip lashes, and I would do like a smoky eye. I would continue using a full face of makeup like I always did, because again, I was working cosmetics and everything. But when I did start my chemo, when I had my surgery and everything, I took time off of work, and I really was able to, focus on healing and getting through that difficulty of chemotherapy, post-surgery issues, as well as radiation and things like that. So I always highly recommend people to take time off if they are working, and not to just plow through, and feel guilty because they have to miss work. I always say your job is going to be there, and if it's not, then it's okay too. Like, don't worry about it. Just take care of yourself. I mean, that's the biggest advice that I could give for survivors newly diagnosed, is just take care of yourself. And taking care of yourself is doing whatever you enjoy doing in between treatments and things like that, because your mindset is like so important. I mean, how you think about things can really impact your body. And so being mindful of that, and creating a peaceful environment for yourself, creating joy, even amidst a situation where it's very scary and very frightening, and can cause a lot of anxiety and things like that. It's like whatever you need to do to kind of ground yourself and find that balance and find that joy within that. It's really important. So, for example, I had to go through the chemotherapy would make me nauseous, but then I was only nauseous for like 1 week, but then the next week I was fine. And then the following week after that, it was like, again, time to get more chemo and be nauseous again. So for me, it was like having like something to look forward to. So during my good week, I would be like, let's go get some Japanese food, or let's have a yummy dessert that I liked, or whatever that I would like really enjoy eating, because I knew that next week I'm gonna feel like crap. So for me, it's like having things to look forward to, see a Broadway show, or whatever it was that would bring me that immediate joy and happiness. I went for it. Because I was like, you know what, I don't know how this is going to end, and I cannot have regrets. So I'm just going to enjoy it, and just whatever I need to do, I'm going to do, and just go with that, And so I've had so many different aha moments during my journey, and for me, giving back to the community has always been so important. Even while I was going through treatment, my mom and I were involved in the two major cancer walks in New York City, the Susan G. Komen, and also the American Cancer Society. So did those walks every year for many, many, many years. Fundraised for different organizations, even created my own sort of like Facebook group called Unix Can. I will add that Facebook address to the comment box, so you can join us. So I wanted to create something like that people of all kinds of cancers could come together. So that's why Unix Can. It's uni, because it's united for cancer. So United for Cancer is Unix Can. So go ahead and look for us on Facebook. And also there's another Facebook page that I have called Performing for Hope. And that one was a way for me to give back to the cancer community by creating sort of like a fundraiser cabaret. and we were able to do two cancer cabarets, and the fundraising funds went for an organization called Stupid Cancer, which have been an amazing pillar of strength and support for the young adult cancer community. So I will attach that as well for you guys to follow them. And now with this channel, you know, I wanted to give something back, and we're going to be presenting different people that have great advice and great support for you guys. I'm going to be doing a lot of different interviews with different people that I think that would really benefit, the information would really benefit the community. Also, like I said before, the wigs, I want to make sure that whether you have a little hair or no hair at all, that we can find you some wigs that can really make you feel great, that can make you feel a little bit like before you got the diagnosis, or even have the best hair of your life, honey, because now you don't have to depend on the hair that you have naturally. Now you can have like hair wishes, you know. So so we can find you some really sassy wigs that you can try on and use and wear to your chemo appointment or your radiation appointment or whatever. You know, nobody has to look at you and say, oh, she's going through cancer, poor thing. No, honey, wear that wig proud, wear it, show it off, have fun, have 100 of them. You know, like as you can see, like I have some. I have a lot more in the bag. I just don't have space to put them all here. But you know, I always had a great wig collection, even before the cancer, during the cancer, and after the cancer, honey, because in the last 11 years, the improvement that has come to the wig industry has been incredible. I mean, I usually stick to synthetic wigs, but they have made them look so natural, creating, you know, like you know, like a scalp, like fake scalps, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's just fantastic. So why not wear it, have fun? And you know what, even when your own hair starts to grow back, you may be like addicted to the wigs like I am, and like so many of us, that is like, forget it, I never liked my real hair anyway. Like, I'm just gonna show off this wig, and just, if they ask you, is that hair yours? You say, yes, it is, because you bought it, you paid for it, so it's yours, you know? So yeah, hell yeah, it's my hair. Of course it is. I paid for it. So anyway, so that the hair is a very big important part of the Thriver Thursday series. Also for my friends that have alopecia and you know, they have permanent hair loss, absolutely. Like, I'm gonna show you some great examples of some great fashion hair that you can wear as well. Also for makeup, we're gonna do a brow tutorial to teach you exactly how to fill your eyebrows so it fits your face structure, because that's really important. Like, you need to know where the brow starts, how to build an eyebrow, and how that brow fits into your face. So that's really key. So whether you have very light eyebrows, or you know, or you've lost your eyebrows completely through either alopecia or through the cancer treatment, we're gonna teach you like what to do when you have absolutely no idea on how to fill your eyebrows. So we're gonna do one of those. I'm also gonna show you, you know, different types of lashes to use, whether it's with glue or magnetic lashes, and so that way you'll have a better idea about that. And also we're going to focus on being mindful during this difficult time, spirituality, and things that can really bring you that inner peace that you will need, because you need to find that balance during that time. So that's very important. So we're going to be discussing a little bit about how spirituality, meditation, positive thinking, sort of attracting positive energy towards you to give you that inner strength, how to share your story with others, because through sharing that, there's a lot of healing that comes from that. So we'll discuss that, and also things about nutrition, supplements, even things that can help you calm down at the end of the night, you know, when you're not getting good enough sleep. vitamins to let your hair grow stronger and to also have healthier nails and skin, things like that. Makeup tricks that can really transform a person, that can, somebody that can look like, wow, they're really going through a difficulty right now. And you could see it. You could see it in their skin tone. You could see it in their eyes, but we'll get you up there. We'll get you looking fabulous. And that's really important because if you don't feel good and then you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and you really, I know you don't have energy to like do makeup and hair and stuff like that, but if you just do a couple of little things, and that can really kind of transform that look from looking like you're going through a real difficult battle, and all of a sudden it's like when you catch yourself in the reflection of the mirror, you actually look like yourself. You look like everyone else. Like you feel like you're not going to be pointed at or you're not going to be spotted in the crowd like, oh, she or he is going through cancer, you need to lift your spirits during this difficult time, and so I continue to kind of push through my glamour mindset during this time because it was so important, and people were amazed, when I would share with them, oh yeah, right now I'm going through this and this and this, and they were like, but you look amazing. Like you look like you're going to a show or something, And I'm like, yeah, well, for me, that little effort really pays off because that helps me feel confident and secure. And they were like, wow, you're amazing. Like, wow, this is incredible. Like I would have never thought that you were going through this. And at the time I was going through chemo, and at the time it was my 20th high school reunion. And of course, hello, like you have to go and impress, And I did go, and I wore like a short human hair wig, and I was wearing my lashes and everything. And people were like, you never changed. You look just as good as in high school. What happened? And I'm like, oh, actually, I lost some weight because I had to go through chemotherapy because I'm going through cancer right now. And they were like, what? And I'm like, yeah. Seriously? Oh my God. And I was like, yeah. Actually, I had to get a permission from my oncologist to come to Florida, to Miami, where I was raised, and come to the reunion. Like they wanted to make sure it was going to be okay for me to travel, while I'm going through chemo. And they're like, how is this possible? And but for me to go down there and see my friends and to be able to celebrate, it was like, that was my carrot, the carrot that I needed to be able to like look forward to something special. And for me, that was like so important. So my best advice is really to just always have something to look forward to. Always include things in your everyday that bring you joy and peace, that bring you balance. And also, don't be afraid to share your story, because that is like so much a part of the healing process, as any of the treatments that your doctor prescribes, So that is my cancer story. I know it's a little bit on the long side, but I really appreciate you spending the time to getting to know me a little bit better and knowing and understanding of the reasons behind Thriver Thursday. I'm hoping that I'm able to at least provide you all with 2 to 3 times a month a Thriver Thursday episode. I already have some great wigs lined up, so I am gonna really work hard in getting those taped and posted on my channel. So again, if this is your first time watching the Red Diva channel and you have not subscribed, please do so now before you forget, and also hit the notification bell so you get all the special content for my channel, as well as this beautiful Thriver Thursday series within the channel. So anyway, thank you so much for spending some time with me and for the honor of your time. I really appreciate it. I will see you soon and have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.